Okay, it's recording now. So
Sweet.
so yeah, that's something that I want to do with these. Is try to do debates over things, especially when it comes to art forms that hasn't really been done before. You may not know this, but my most recent debate was with James, and it's 3 hours long, and it was about BVS. So
Oh shit. 3 hours?
yeah, it's
Man, you
three
guys were going
hours.
at it.
Yeah, we
That's
got
awesome.
really passionate about it, and I think people are more than willing to debate, and I think we do it in Twitter and Reddit, but we don't really seem to bring it to the Oriental side of debating, the more audio, the talk voice to voice type deal, like we do in politics. So I
Mhm.
kind of want to bring that one element of politics, that debates, to the other side of the world, I guess.
Right. That makes a lot of sense too, because I feel like when it comes to that, it kind of comes out like a lot more smoother.
Yeah.
And sometimes like tone through text kind of gets lost.
Yeah, that's one of my main issues with text. You may not know this, but I was, for a good year, I was on the DMC Reddit, and I was just like all day, every day, just defending the reboot. That was basically my life,
Hell
and
yeah.
I started to get very frustrated with text like debates, because
Oh yeah,
if I want to
same.
pressure you on something, I just repeat that same thing until you give me that answer. But with text, you can just completely sideline that or ignore that in general, and which can be very frustrating to like pin them on a certain point, and it just kind of leads everyone to kind of go in circles.
Exactly.
All right, so first things up first before we get started with this whole debate thing. DMC SE, DMC 5 SE, I should say, was just
Ooh,
announced. God, Vergil, all this other stuff.
yes. Yes.
You seem so excited.
Oh my god, dude, when I saw it, I was screaming. I had no idea because I thought my friend was trolling me. He likes to troll me a lot. So he's like, DMC, Capcom game, PS5 showcase. I'm like, you're bullshitting. And then I just go on the YouTube live thing, and suddenly I saw like Vergil. I was like, oh my god! Like, I was like just losing my shit. I'm like, no way. I was just like screaming. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And then it was like actually like a thing. And then like I didn't have to like keep speculating whether or not it'd be real. And then like the fact that it'd be like day one with these new systems too, I was like, oh fuck yeah.
Yeah, I like at first I found myself to be pretty excited about it. I was in like Devilish Motives Discord. I was in my own Discord. We were talking about it, but I don't know. After a while, I think it's like the inner cynic in me is kind of more annoyed, because like Legendary Dark Knight mode and Turbo mode, I think should have been in the game from the start.
Oh yeah.
I find that to be pretty annoying. And Virgil was like already in the game. You can already play him in
Mhm.
PC, so I just find that part
True.
pretty irritating.
Yeah, like honestly, I was like kind of just a little disappointed when I beat Vanilla DMC 5 last year and I saw that Virgil wasn't an unlockable. I was like, oh man, because it's like I know you got V and all, but it's like I know he's just one part of Virgil, but I just wanted like the whole package. And waiting a year later to play as him, it's like you said, PC users kind of already had that a little early, with being able to mod him, and I know the official Virgil will have like new mechanics and whatnot, but like you said, PC kind of had it a little early.
Yeah, but I don't like, just because PC had it early, I don't think that means that PC shouldn't be getting SE at all. I think
Oh yeah.
that's a real. I said this over Twitter, and I'll say it again. This is basically DMC DE all over again. Except back then, people were like, didn't care as much. But now that it's DMC 5, now people are riled up, and now we're dislike bombing and all this other stuff.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, I kind of hate that. Like, I really do, because, like, I feel like the game shouldn't get review bombed on Steam, because, like, I feel like it just hurts the game's reputation. Because, like, say there's like new people that want to get into the series, and they see like, they stumble upon 5 score, and they see it's like a 6 out of 10. They're like, man, this game sucks. They just like gloss over it. Just because like they want to have their voices heard over it, you're just gonna hurt the game's reputation. I don't think that's the way to go. But at the same time, I don't think Capcom should have alienated the PC base either, because I'd say like probably a good portion of the PC sales come from DMC5 like on there, and to just exclude that whole base entirely for SE when the other SE games are on PC just makes no sense.
Yeah, yeah. I just It's really sad that the only way to have our voices be heard is through the Steam like reviews, and that's like the worst that we can get. I wish there was kind of like we could democracy wise vote for like a certain game that we like, or say that it has certain issues or like other things like that. I wish there was more feedback between like people that play the games versus people that make the games. That way they can actually get feedback, because you can't always trust what's on Twitter or YouTube, and sometimes I think like a vote would be so much more effective.
And saying it's like a DE situation all over again, like DMC DE, I mean like the reboot, it's like that hurts, because it's like I just like recently became like a PC user, and I so badly wanted to get DE on PC, but then I remembered, oh wait, it's not on this shit. Like, oh man. So it's like, of course you can just download like vanilla DMC, but it's just like really nice just to have like an official version with those features already available. Like
yeah, exactly, from the start, yeah.
Like the DMC4 Special Edition, like it had LDK and Turbo like out of the gate, you know, and that was on PC, but not DMC DE. And it's kind of annoying because it's like I don't even have a capture card for my PS4, and the PS4 can only record in 30 FPS. And then it's like on PC, you can record 60 FPS and get like that buttery smooth footage. But it's like if DMC DE was on Steam, it's like I could record that game in 60 FPS and boom, I got that footage right there. But it's like, nope. Well, like at the vanilla, that is. And just install some mods.
Mods.
Yeah, the mods are sick, man.
Mods are sick. I gotta say, like the modding, like what the modding community has done with DMC specifically after, you know, not giving us as much content as we thought that we were going to get. I'd say mods has definitely been the savior to the DMC games recently.
Definitely, because like I feel like modders were giving to us when like at a point in time when Capcom like stopped production with DMC5, for example. It's like I feel like the modding community kind of like really stepped up and filled Capcom's shoes when it came to just like, you know, feeding our tummies and just making us ego with all the mods.
Yeah, that's funny thing, I don't know if you've heard about this, but Jojo Wi-Fi is in hot water as of late. Did you hear what he said about the PC modders?
Oh shit, yeah, like, oh my god, I watched that video, and dude, the thing I already thought that was like really retarded off the bat was how he was saying that PC players don't have access to like 120 FPS because of no SC. I'm like, dude, you realize people are able to play vanilla DMC5 on PC at 144 hertz? You know, so it was like, fuck out of here with that, like, garbage, you know, because it wasn't even true. It's just like spreading like false information right there.
Yeah, I know. It's very like, and Jojo Wi-Fi has rightfully been criticized, but his last second defense was that he put LOL after DMC modders in the description, so that's his defense, and saying that it was a complete joke and he can't take any criticism for it.
Oh god, yeah, saying like modders are canceled. I'm like, that's just kind of like a dick thing to say, because it's like you're trying to pin blame on the modders, but who's to say it's their fault, you know? Like, what if Capcom, like, struck some exclusivity deal with Sony and Microsoft, you know, to just have this game be only available on those platforms? Instead of just pointing fingers on the modders, it's like, if anything, the modders have given DMC5 a lot of life. Like I said, when Capcom stopped producing content for this game, it's like there are so many cool mods you can find out there for this game that, like, I'm not even sure will actually be in the special edition, like the classic skins, for example. Like, if you check out some of the classic mods with Dante, where you can check out the DMC1 outfit, DMC2, etc., it's sick. And I don't even know if Capcom could give you that shit with SC. But there you go. Modders have gone above and beyond time and time again, and to blame them is fucked up.
Yeah, I've never... And now, like, that you're seeing some people get behind it to blame the modders, and that's just really upsetting to me. Because, like you said, it has given the game a lot of life. A lot more than it probably would have had if there was no modder support at all.
Exactly. Modders canceled. Fuck out of here, because at the same time, you can still play Vergil on PC officially, so it's like, how are modders exactly canceled? All they're really missing is just a couple features, and I get it. It's like, it's frustrating that, like, they're not going to get Legendary Dark Knight or Raytracing officially, but at the same time, it's like features like Turbo, we've already had access to features like that, and some people say that, like, they don't want to have Turbo through, like, a table, you know, like a cheat engine. But it's like, there are ways to enable Turbo without using a cheat table, where you just have to edit the Steam internal files once, and that's it. So I feel like the turbo criticism there can kind of be knocked out, but not the other ones. It's like it's hard to justify SE not being on PC because it's like at the end of the day, there's still not a good reason I can find.
Sorry, I missed that last part. What'd you say?
Oh, what'd you get?
Oh, nothing. My sister walked in, that's all. Being as annoying as always. Anyway, continue.
Oh, it's okay. No, I just thought like I cut off or something and you missed some of what I said.
I guess so. Just repeat it anyway.
Shit. Okay. I'm trying to remember.
Wait, did you forget it already? How did you forget what you just said 20 seconds ago?
I don't know. I was just having a brain fart.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah, because like, I'm just trying to remember like what specific point, like what you heard, because it's like you said your sister walked in, so like I didn't know like how much you heard, like where to start from again.
Nah, it's okay. But yeah, I about ray tracing. Oh boy, one thing that's kind of annoyed me is that they're not selling. I really wish there was must-style mode, but they're kind of selling ray tracing as like the big thing to me. And all I see for ray tracing, I watch the video, and it's like, well, you see, the windows brightened up a little bit more, and I'm just like, is that seriously worth it though? Like, okay, I understand like you want to upgrade the graphical fidelity of a game. Obviously, anybody wants to do it. The new Absolver remaster looks great, and it's doing it. I love that. But like, you're telling me that's one of the best features that you have, or it's the number one thing you want to push for? I don't know.
Yeah, I know, right? And like, I feel like for people who are actually getting upset at like no ray tracing on PC, I feel like it also just really depends on like your graphics card, because like ray tracing on PS5 and Series X, for example, it can only do like 30 FPS, whereas there are like graphics cards out there for PC that can do ray tracing with 4K and 60 FPS. So it just kind of makes me wonder if like maybe they didn't have like SE on PC because it's like, the newer graphics cards would already kind of make PS5s and Series X is not even like look as good, because it can only do ray tracing 30 FPS. And honestly, who wants to play DMC at 30 FPS? Like even with ray tracing, like it can look like as beautiful as hell, but I just feel like the combat might not be as smooth, as if you had like a solid like 60 FPS.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Which is why I don't feel like it's like the biggest bummer if you're not getting like ray tracing like on PC. Because I feel like if you have a graphics card that can handle it, then yeah, it's a total bummer. But if not, it's like who's to say like your graphics card couldn't like do ray tracing and 60 FPS at the same time? Because it's like hard to get that. It's expensive to get those kind of cards.
Yeah, exactly, and it's very like obtuse to me, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that like ray tracing is the thing that I would be the least mad about it not coming to PC. Because while there are some people that certainly can push it to its limits with those master super built super machines that are made from the heavens that can power god-like graphics that us mortals can't even comprehend, that's cool, but I don't think that most people have that ability anyway.
Right, like the big dick graphics cards. But I'm just thinking, like, the feature I'm kind of more, like, bummed out about not coming to PC is, like, Legendary Dark Knight, because I know, like, you have modders out there who will try their best to emulate the LDK mods, but I hear some people are, like, having trouble with it, and, you'll have some crashes, and that's why I'm thinking it would have just been better if they had, like, SE on PC. Like, who knows, maybe they're, like, using, like, a new version of DMC5 with, like, different coding, and it's just meant for Legendary Dark Knight and just optimized for that. To where if you try, like, having that many enemies in the PC version, it just, like, crashes every time.
Yeah, I have seen a few people run like 50 plus enemies all at the same time, which is pretty crazy, and I think up there with LDK.
Oh shit, on Vanilla 5?
Yeah.
That's crazy, because it's like, I try using like the Fostat like enemy spawner, and like sometimes I'm just able to get like 30 enemies, and the game like usually like runs stable, it doesn't crash, but if I try getting to around like 40 or more, it'll like start to chug and like crash. It'll just like do like a force exit. That's why I'm just thinking, it should have just been part of the game, but I guess this is their way of telling people, well, if you want it, just go buy the system.
Yeah, I guess so. I just hate that they couldn't just release this stuff with DLC. I just don't see why they needed a special edition to do that.
Right?
That's a little bit irritating.
Maybe
to
they
me.
thought they wouldn't make as much sales
Yeah.
on PC.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people like. We were talking in the server, and I think that a lot of people are starting to think that this is a very shady behind-the-scenes deal between like PlayStation and Xbone. Behind the scenes, like handing off like black drugs or whatever. Point is that they're. And I brain farted. God, see, look, you've transferred your disease over to me. Good job.
Oh, my disease. It could have been yours.
No way, it's yours. You started it.
Hell no. Shit. Well, you were talking about like LDK, right? Just like features that are not like.
Yeah, I don't think
PC.
they did this on purpose. I don't think like Capcom looks at this and they're like, let's not put it on PC and make less money. Nice. No, it had to be PS4 and Xbone like type of backseat deal that they paid for exclusively for them. But why though is the question.
Yeah, there definitely has to be some logic to it, because it's like, if you think about it, like if they were to release the features that SC has like through DLC, I feel like that wouldn't warrant $40 for PC users. Because say, they have vanilla DMC5 and all they need to have is like Turbo and LDK, and just want to buy those features separately. You really think that's going to be $40 for just two features?
Yeah.
So maybe Capcom thought releasing the game as SC instead, like as a whole package for like 40, that'll encourage people to buy the game again. But then at the same time, it's like, if you already have it on PC, it's like in a way, you kind of already have like an optimized version of DMC5 that console users don't have. Because it's like, even vanilla DMC5 kicks the crap out of, on PC, kicks the crap out of the console version. Because it's like, console version only lets you do like 60 FPS. Then on PC, you can like go to like 140, or higher, like, depending on your rig. Yeah, it's crazy. And then in addition to like having mod support like Turbo and shit, and it's like, easy as piss to install. And I'm just thinking, oh man, it's kind of like you're giving yourself like an early special edition, but then little do you know, when the real one comes out, you're not going to be able to play it on PC. So it's like, what the hell, did modders just get punished or something? But I don't want to think that way, and just think that maybe they were thinking they wouldn't like make as much money on PC, and so maybe that's why they decided to just exclude PC, because they were thinking that even if they released the features as DLC, not many people are going to like buy the same game twice on PC, because they already like own an optimized version of DMC5. Like, if that makes sense.
I get that, but at the same time, man, why don't they just make it for PC? I mean,
I know, it's so frustrating, because it's like, I'm trying to like explain it, but it's like trying to justify the bullshit just kind of like sucks, because it's like, I don't want to. Like, I'm not Capcom. I'm trying to understand their reasoning, but it just sucks.
The best excuse that they have right now is that, we didn't make it for the PC. We made it exclusively for the Xbone X, and the PS5, and those exclusively. They were made for them, which is like eyebrow raising, because again, PC can do all kinds of wacky wahoo stuff with mods. So it's kind of crazy to me that they couldn't just add these things. It's so strange.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, there are already like graphics cards that can do ray tracing and 60 FPS at the same time, whereas these systems will only give you 3 modes, from what I know, for DMC5. And one of the modes is 4K 30 FPS with ray tracing, or you can have ray tracing turned off and have 4K and 60 FPS. But I'm not sure if you'll be able to do like 4K and 120 at the same time. So I think from what I remember, Matt said that you'll be able to do like a lower resolution while having the ability to play at like 120 FPS.
Yeah. Now, switching topics to Vergil, what do you think? I know that we're getting more weapons, but what is kind of your theories and ideas? There's a small minority of people that are saying that Nello Angelo's sword is coming back. A lot of people
that'd be so cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. I never even
thought of that.
But yeah. I don't think that that's likely, though. I mean, then again, the person that said that was Jojo Wifi, so...
Oh, God. Yeah. That's why I said, oh, God, because it's like... that like, Modders Canceled video, it just kind of seemed like he was trying to, like, have an eye out for the PC community of DMC5, because, like, I think if I'm correct, there was, like, there's, like, one YouTuber called The Hitchhiker who said that he doesn't have permission along with like John Fleer to like not use whatever mods were in the video or something like that.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
For John Favreau and Jojo Wifi, there's a lot of disclaimers lately on the mods that say they're not allowed to cover it, and I think that's why they're so angry against the modders. Specifically Jojo Wifi, is because they can't make the only content that's out there for DMC wise other than like SE as of recent is the mods, and if they're not allowed to cover the mods, then dude, that must be so frustrating.
Right, and I kind of don't blame him because like from what I've seen from Jojo Wi-Fi and whatnot, he does like a lot of clickbait shit, and that gets annoying after a while.
Yeah, funny enough, while we are kind of on the topic, I was making a video about somebody else who tried to make a response video. You probably heard of him, KnightNC. Have you heard of him?
Actually I haven't.
Okay, but he was essentially a guy who made a video on Jojo Wi-Fi. He called it a concept comp, but he didn't go into very much depth as to why Jojo Wi-Fi actually has problems. He didn't even bring up all the clickbait stuff, and I was hoping to do a response to that video to kind of show him why, or what he should have done with all that information, and what he could have done to Jojo Wi-Fi if he actually put more of an effort to like see like he doesn't even mention his excuse of that, his main argument of modders as a joke. Like, he doesn't mention part of those, so that's kind of frustrating to me. I don't know, that was a bit off topic, but yeah.
Oh no, not really. I mean, because like, you know, he mention JoJo and I had to do with it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was gonna make a video to it. Maybe I'll show it to you once I'm done. But it's kind of
yeah, I check it out.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, and as for like John Fleer, I'm not too sure. I mean, because
yeah, I haven't seen much of his content though.
Yeah, and to be honest, like, I mean, I saw some of his content, and like so far, I think he's all right. Because the content I've seen from him was like tutorials on how to install the Vergil mod for DMC5, like on PC, of course. And I mean, his tutorials were like really helpful, but I don't know why he's not allowed to cover Hitchhiker's like mods either. Because like maybe it's for the same reason. Like I'm guessing for Jojo Wi-Fi for him having like clickbaity videos and shit.
Yeah, this kind of I don't know if you remember, but do you remember a guy called Rezoura?
Kind of.
Yeah, so Rezoura...
The name sounds familiar.
The Rezoura got in trouble for like a similar thing that Jojo Wi-Fi and John Favreau were doing, except he was way worse in a sense, because he actually lied multiple times and faked his own death, which, oof, like that's a big oof right there, and that's more than all the others have done. But I ended up coming to his defense because I didn't think the points against him were very good, and it got to such a point where that video that Half Print did on him was so destructive that he actually wound up leaving the internet entirely.
What the hell?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of scary. I just went to look him up, and I was like, hey, what happened to that Rezoura guy? Looked him up, gone.
Like, just vanished off the face of the planet.
Yeah, it's kind of reminds me of what happened to Martin G, so.
Damn, that's, like, really weird. But I feel like it's like, kind of taking things too far, too, especially, like, with faking your own death, because, I mean, you don't fuck with people like that.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, I'm not, like, defending his actions, but I just don't think the video in particular that he made on him, like, he never went after his clickbaity stuff because he's actually friends with Devil Never Cry, which kind of does a lot of the same criticisms, and in fact that doc that Rezoura made kind of actually pointed that out, and I thought that his criticisms were pretty weak. Anyway, it was a whole situation. I guess that's all in the past now. I feel so old. I'm like a boomer.
Shit. You feel like a boomer. And if I'm older than you, what do you say? I'm a boomer too? Come on, man.
Yeah, you're the super boomer now.
Oh, fuck off. But I'm just thinking, you mentioned Devil Never Cry. Yeah, I actually think he's really cool too because, to be honest, like, that's how I was able to learn modding for the first time, like, ever, because, like, I never modded, like, any game, and when I had, like, a nice PC for the first time, like, I started modding DMC5, but I'm like, shit, I don't know, like, how to go about it, so I just, like, checked out a tutorial, and the first one was Devil Never Cry's how to install mods video. And one of the mods he covered was Turbo, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah, because I just always wondered how Turbo with DMC5 would feel like. And to be honest, that's the reason why I said DMC Definitive Edition still felt faster to me than vanilla DMC5. Because like vanilla DMC5's combat is like incredible, but the speed I still felt like was the best in the reboot when you keep turbo in mind, because you could just get your combos out like lightning fast. And so it just felt like turbo for DMC5 well. And when I played it for the first time, I'm like, this is awesome. And it just made me wonder how it's going to come about in like in an official way. But, you know, again, PC is not getting it through DLC, so you just kind of got to do it themselves through mods. And I get how some people don't like the whole mentality of like do it yourself, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. Although Devil Never Cry, I think a lot of us can agree is probably one of the better, like, DMC quote-unquote content creators. I think he does it a lot better. I mean, he, like I said, he has some similar problems with other people of his lane, but he's still much better than any of the other previous people that came before him. And I really do like that he's helping out people, like with your experience with Turbo, which is really nice.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, because I strongly would recommend him too, like, because I've done shout-outs for him before with some of my videos where, you know, some of the first videos I posted using mods, I would just attach his name and like a link to him and all that, so people could either check out his channel or also learn how to install mods.
Nice.
Because, like, I know, hell yeah, because I know some people were like, oh, you know, not everyone knows how to install mods, but if you follow the tutorial, it's, like, pretty easy. It's, like, short, you know, you just watch it once, and if you have to, just repeat it or whatever.
Tutorials on YouTube, the good old days.
Yeah, I know, right? But still, again, doesn't excuse PC getting the shaft with SE. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
And you were talking about Vergil. Like on?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, when you were mentioning Vergil, did you see like my newest Vergil upload with DMC5?
I think I did. Hold on, let me double check though. Yeah, I'm seeing it. Did pretty well.
Oh, sweet. Oh, thank you. So you already saw it before and all?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so like I got super excited when like the new song for Vergil came out. Like, oh my god. I just couldn't like help pumping out a video with that new theme already. But then at the same time, like one of the comments I got for it, someone's like, oh, I hope the official one plays like this. And I was just smiling thinking, man, like, again, modders are awesome just for being able to give you a version of Vergil, even though incomplete, like just a version of him where he still feels like really powerful to play and fluid. Because there was like a couple mods in that video that like helped trim some of the frames for his animations to like help some of his combos come out quicker, and it was just so cool. You know,
it also looks like this Vergil has inertia, which I don't know if they're gonna add that into the main SE.
Yeah, I'm not even sure either. You know, see, that's like another thing too. I mean, I guess you could give that to Vergil whenever the DLC comes to Steam and all that, with like the table. But I'm actually not even sure if you played DMC5 with mods yet.
No, I haven't. I am a console purist. Thank you very much.
Oh, a console purist.
Yeah.
Ooh, when are you going to come to the dark side, man?
Nah, dude, the light side's so much better, bro. Come on, I got...
Dude.
Okay, funny enough, I saw, like, one of the videos that, that Dante couldn't be played, like, very at a high level with, Xbox, and I was like, you know what, screw this, I'm gonna prove him wrong, and I got myself an Xbox Elite controller.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and it comes with 4 buttons on, like, the back of it that you can use with your, middle finger and your ring finger. So you can
cool.
Yeah, you can flip back and forth. And I see a lot of these PS4 players like trying to play it, and I see them with their clawed hands, and I'm like, oh, that must look, oh, that must feel, nasty. Like versus
right.
Like the Elite controller, so much more smooth. I would recommend that to anybody that like has an Xbox and wants to give Dante or Nero at a high level a try. So.
Yeah, because I was actually really thinking about getting the Elite controller, but I know since I was getting a Series X, like the controller for there like looks like really improved and looks very similar to the Elite controller. So I just figured I'd just wait for that and just like see how SE is with it. And And on the topic of SE, are you getting a next gen for it?
That's the thing though, is that like thinking about it, like I you know, at first it was an obvious yes, but like after a while, I think I'll wait. I mean, I've got a lot of games that I want to play already at my fingertips with Game Pass, because Game Pass is such a godsend. I love that thing.
Oh yeah, it is. It's really good. It's like Netflix for games.
Yeah, I know, and it's great. I got like The Witcher 3, I got Kingdom Hearts 3. I just recently got to play Night Call, which is a masterpiece of a game. It's a little game from France about like a type of detective noir kind of story about like a taxi driver trying to find out a killer's mystery. It's a super interesting and complex game.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have found that game without Game Pass. I wouldn't have found Absolver without Game Pass, and even Tacoma. I don't like Tacoma that much, but hey, I found it through Game Pass, so.
Right. Yeah, Game Pass has a lot of good shit. But hey, I was remembering you were saying... Oh, wait. Oh, what did you say?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, like, I remember before in the beginning of this discussion, you were saying that, like, you think Turbo and Legendary Dark Knight could have been there from the beginning. Like, were you saying for, like, the PC and Xbox One versions, like, those features should have just been in there from the start?
Yeah, I think so. I really do stand by that. Mostly because of the fact that... like, okay, let's take their excuse for granted, right? And say that the original Xbox One and PS4 couldn't handle that amount of power. Then I think that should give you big red flares of, hey, maybe we should be, like, maybe toning this down a bit. That way we can put those extra features in the game, you know? I think that if your game's pumping so hard that it can't fit in an extra few modes, I think that that's a problem on a base level, you know?
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, how the game was going to, like, handle turbo mode. Because I kind of thought these systems running the DMC5 was kind of demanding enough as it is. Because I know, like, even for, like, the Xbox One X version, that's the version that's, like, touted as being, like, true native 4K with 60 FPS. But it's only able to handle 4K 60 FPS by having the game run in, like, medium settings. But on PC, you know, that's, like, not the case, because you can just, like, run the game on ultra settings and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then on Xbox, it just, like, goes to show you that, like, you know, they have to lower those settings, you know, and that, like, in a way, those systems, well, those versions kind of hold back the PC version in a way, because, like, you know, then that version kind of, like, had to hold itself back.
Yeah. All right, you want to get to the debating part?
Oh, wait, I mean, just so that didn't come out wrong, I was only saying, like, PC was only getting held back by, like, not having those features from the start because, like, consoles, the console versions didn't have them, because I kind of don't believe that DMC5 could handle Legendary Dark Knight on PS4 and Xbox One. Like, I feel like that's just not possible, because the game is not like DMC4, where, like, DMC4 on console, Special Edition on console could, like, have that many enemies at once. But when you consider, like, the RE engine and, like, how graphically demanding that whole engine is, like, on console, I just feel like the PS4 and Xbox One would, like, fucking crash. Like, I definitely believe it's, like, excusable to have that mode exclusive to next gen, but I also think it should have came to PC as well, just to solidify, you know, oh, hey, this feature is, like, so demanding that it can only be on next gen and PC, but to try and say that, oh, it's made just for next gen, it's like, but PC can handle that shit too, you know, so it doesn't make any sense to just, like, leave them in the dust.
Yeah, again, I think that this whole, like, PC debacle is very fascinating, to say the least. There's like a lot of, like, maybe through, like, the coming months when the game actually releases, maybe they'll slowly tell us why they made this decision in the first place, but again, we'll kind of never know. But even then, even if the turbo mode couldn't run, I swear in RE though, at least in the new RE game, they can run turbo mode, even though it's using the RE engine. So.
Hey, wait, was that, like, on console?
Yeah, or at least I might have seen a clip from PC, and that might be the reason. So I'm not, like, standing my ground too much on that one. So.
Right, yeah, because I just think, like, LDK probably would have been another story. Like, maybe Turbo could have handled it, but I'm not sure about Legendary Dark Knight. And then it's, like, at that point, if they were only going to give, like, console players, like, that one feature along with Vergil, you know, might as well just, like, come out with more, maybe some more that, like, you know, those consoles couldn't handle, and just have it be exclusive to just next gen.
Yeah. Well,
but,
there is one thing about the website that I did get to see is that apparently Vergil will have switchable or other outfits, because it mentions that you'll be switching between multiple outfits with Vergil on the website. So
That's pretty cool. Like, maybe that's the whole reason for the Michelangelo theories. And, I mean, that'd be pretty cool, too, because, like, you know, he was an extra in DMC 3 Special Edition, so I don't see why not for this game, especially when, you know, they're re-releasing it, and it's, like, all about Vergil, so... And that was, like a cool little surprise they have sorted for us. That'd be so dope.
yeah, Nello Angelo, I just hate how they did him dirty in DMC 5, is that I was kind of expecting him to play, like, a more pure, like, center part role in that, but he was kind of, like, thrown to the side. Then the whole Nello Angelo is like, oh, he's suddenly back to Vergil and he's dying now. Why? For what reasons? We don't know, but, I don't know.
You mean the whole Proto-Angelo enemy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think, like, those actually weren't, like, the real, like, Nello Angelos, but, like, maybe they were just, like, nightmare fragments of when, you know, he was him. And, like, those, like, weren't the real thing. Maybe that's why, you know, they didn't really touch too much on it.
Yeah. Oh, well.
But, I mean, I think that's, like, another topic, because I know you really wanted to get to the Dante one. But then you also mentioned Vergil, too, and we didn't get to talk about his mechanics, unless you wanted to do that first, and the Dante one in a bit.
Sure. Yeah, let's do Vergil first, so.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been playing recently a lot of DMC4 Vergil. I haven't gotten to touch on the Vergil reboot. And I'd say, like, DMC4 Vergil has, like, the opposite problems of DMC4 Dante. Like, because Dante, the problem with his kit is that one of the reasons why it takes a while for him to actually to get good with him is that because a lot of his different kits doesn't super work as well, so it kind of pushes you to try and use more complex techniques. But the issue with Vergil is that it pushes for none of the advanced techniques, because Vergil can just destroy everything just by looking at it slightly.
I know, right? He's, like, so broken in that game. He's, like, broken, honestly, in, like, everything he's in, like, even Marvel vs. Capcom.
Is he broken there, too?
Oh, hell yeah. Like, I mean, because I don't know if you've seen, like, any of the Marvel 3 videos I posted, but, like, you could have Vergil as, like, the last guy in your team, and he could go up against a player with, like having their whole, like, 3 characters still, and he'd wipe them all out. Like, he's, like, a one-man army. He's just insane. And he's actually, like, S tier as well. But it's just, like...
Uh-oh. You there? You there? Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. You there? Maybe you disconnect and rejoin and see if that works. You there now? Hey, you're there.
Sweet.
Anyway, what were you saying? I had a feeling this would happen. I have no idea why. I knew some form of technical difficulties would occur. Feels bad, man. Here, I'll split up the recording.
Okay, and now hopefully it works.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, it's just like these headphones, like these Bluetooth headphones. I was just trying to, like, get to work because they were working earlier, and I'm like, why are you tapping out on me now?
Got them
So
gamer headphones.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then I had to also take a call from someone too, and just tell him, like, yo, I was like, I do this vid. He's like, oh shit.
Oh, nice. I personally never really tell a lot of people in real life this. I don't know why I'm very reserved like that.
Oh, that, like, you don't, like, do your YouTube and stuff?
Yeah, I don't really tell them that. I don't know. I feel like especially at the subscriber count that I'm at, like that would kind of seem kind of cringy, I guess. I don't know.
Hell no. It's just like, it's your passion, man. Like, no one can ever look down on you for that. Like, especially people who are your friends, too. Like, if they're your friends, they'll support you through and through.
Yeah,
I mean, I tell most of my friends, too, that, like, you know, I do YouTube, and, you know, whether or not, like, they'll look down on me, I was like, I don't really care, and for the most part, like, you know, I do get their support, and it's awesome.
Yeah. That's who it would be nice to have feedback other than people that I know on the interwebs, so...
Right, because, you know, they could also, like, help you improve, too. And, you know, at times I also, like, ask friends for, like, advice when it comes to, like, YouTube thumbnails or, like, song choices and stuff like that. So you just never know.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I really do need to come out as a YouTuber.
Hell yeah. Like, step out of your shell. Hell yeah. And, like, you never know what kind of, like, solid recommendations your friends could have for you. And then just, like, watch your subscriber count grow.
Yeah, my subscriber count has been slowly going up. Anyway, back to what you were saying.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I can tell, too. Like, you know, it's grown, like, a lot, you know, since I've known you.
Yeah, especially the server. Have you seen the server?
Yeah, it's nuts, man. It's like so populated. It feels like, you know, like a city or some shit.
Oh, it's crazy.
A lot of traffic. I know, right? Like, good job on that, man. Seriously.
Look, I just saw a niche market, and I wanted to capitalize on that. And it worked. And now I'm officially the king of the reboot. Yep.
Hell yes. Oh, you're the king? Well, I'm number one in the fucking leaderboards. Not you. I'm just kidding, man. Well, actually, no. Like, seriously, like, before on the reboot and definitive edition, I actually got, like, number one on the leaderboards for, like, some of the missions.
Really?
Hell yeah. I even took screenshots, too, and everything. Like, on Gods Must Die and Dante Must Die Hardcore. I was like, oh my god, I got number one! And I, like, screenshotted it. You can tell, too, because it has, like, my PSN ID. It should be Cloud Strife. And then, like, you just see it on there. I'm like, hell yeah. Dude, I never got number one, like, on the leaderboards for, like, any game before.
Damn, I should try my best to kind of... I don't know. GMD mode is probably the most hardcore mode I think I've ever seen. Like, you take, like, 2 hits and you die.
Yeah, right? And, like, not just that, but just the whole, like, insanity of how demons spawn with their double triggers, like, always active.
Yeah, it's crazy. You have to, like, stun them to, like, get them out of it, which is super nuts.
Exactly. Right, and, like, if you parry them, like, at the right moment, or, like, just, like, knock them out with, like, a super strong attack, it's sick. And talking about the reboot like this with you makes you want to, like, upload, like, a new video tonight, because it's been so long since I've done any, like, reboot stuff.
Dude, I will totally support it, my guy. I'm, like...
Oh, yeah, man.
The ultimate reboot guy.
Yes. I should just, like, dude, for the hell of it, just use, like, Black Hair Dante, because it's, like, as much as I love using, like, the classic Dante skins, it's, like, no one can really frown at me for using, like, black-haired new Dante, and I'm not going to call him Dante, because it's, like, you know, I feel like kind of talking shit about him, unless you're making, like, the El Dante jokes, which I think are awesome, but I know the whole origin of Dante came from, like, don't do it, but it's, like, now I feel like since the OG DMC series is alive and well, and we know that's going to continue getting sequels, I don't feel like there's, like, a need to, like, bash or hate the reboot anymore. Like, I'm not saying that, like, eliminates all of its old issues, but I think the hatred for it shouldn't be, like, as extreme anymore.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing, that it isn't. Like, literally today, Dante was trending on Twitter, and I checked...
Oh, he was trending today?
Yeah, he was trending because a lot of people think that the new Smash character is going to be Dante. So...
No way!
Well,
that's awesome. How did I miss that shit?
That's just what people think. We don't know for sure.
Oh, trending Smash, and then people just guessing Dante.
Yeah, a lot of people predicting Dante. And I went through one of the threads, and one of them was like, what if we got Reboot Dante instead of OG Dante? And
oh my god.
And I looked through the comments, and all of them were surprisingly positive. Like, all of them were be like, yeah I wouldn't mind.
Right now.
Which is
oh my god,
really
someone posted the one with Nero just, like, smashing his fist into the ground repeatedly. It was like, ah!
Yeah.
Ah! Like,
yeah, you saw that.
Crying. Oh my god. Yeah, it'd be like PlayStation All-Stars all over again, where, like, people wanted the OG Dante, and then they're like, nope, well, we'll give you Dante, but not the Dante you're thinking of. And then you just see, like, that smug, like, shit-eating grin from new Dante when he has this, like, PlayStation All-Stars debut trailer, and you just see the trailer get fucking dislike bombed. It was, like, hilarious. I felt like New Dante was like a poison pill for that game.
Damn.
But I still played as him, man. Like, he was still fun to play as.
You played that? Was
Just
it
in
any
general.
good?
Dude, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I had, like, a lot of fun playing it with, like, my friend online. And so, like, I don't know, I feel like it, like, had, like, a lot of potential. Like, I feel like it kind of sucked on, as far as, like, the roster, because, like, it's a game about, like, PlayStation mascots, and I just felt like a lot of, like, mascots who were supposed to be on the roster, like, weren't even there. You know, it's like, you didn't have, like, Cloud, you didn't have Snake, you didn't have Crash Bandicoot, you didn't have Spyro. There's just, like, so many characters, and I feel like when they were trying to include Dante, it made a lot of sense because PlayStation All-Stars is supposed to be like a celebration of PlayStation classics and franchises that helped PlayStation like skyrocket to what it is today. And DMC was definitely one of those franchises. And so it's like Superbot Entertainment, it's like, oh, well, we want Dante. And Capcom's like, oh, you can use Dante, but since we're rebooting the franchise and, you know, we're using another Dante instead, you got to use this one. And if not, then you can't have Dante. And they're like, fuck. So then they got to use New Dante. Even though fans don't like that, it's like you got some that do, some that don't, but it's hard to like give a percentage on each side on like, you know, how much hate and how much don't, because it was just like a very divisive reboot all around.
Yeah,
And
that's the funny thing is that we really never know. Well, like, okay, here's my theory. My ongoing theory is that in the quote-unquote DMC fans, like the people that, you know, play it like a good amount, that follow it around, generally don't like the reboot. But I think a lot of the normies and the people that play like DMC casually and stuff really like the reboot. I mean, that's where a lot of people came in for a gateway, was from that.
right. Oh, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, just making sure you're still there. But yeah, I agree, because like the reboot, like I'll never forget how like that was actually like the game to like help my YouTube channel grow, because before I started playing the reboot, I felt like my YouTube channel was like really small, like only had like a few hundred subscribers. But then when Capcom gave me like the shout out like years ago on Facebook, and then like they just shared like one of my videos, it was called like Lock and Load from the reboot, and I had like the classic DMC1 skin, and they were saying that YouTuber Dante, and that was like my name back then, it was just Dante, and it said really knows how to put use or make work of the DMC1 outfit. And then the post blew up with like in like 2,000 reacts, you know? It was like, oh shit.
Damn.
And then like, yeah, and then like a lot of people started like swarming in my video because they posted a link, and then a lot of people were saying, oh, I'm here from the post Capcom shared, or I'm here from the Capcom website. And I'm like, oh my god. And then they were like saying you play really good, and I just like couldn't thank them enough. And then when they had the DMC DE style tournament, I was even more shocked when I saw that they actually used my video as an example of how to like, you know, play if you're going to do something like jump canceling. And they were saying, they were trying to give tips, like try not to be too repetitive. And if you're going to do something like jump canceling, like, you know, watch this video. And then I'm like, okay, let me check out the video. And I click on it. I'm like, it's my fucking video! It was like the Lock and Load video. I was like, no way! I was like, dude, I screenshotted the shit out of it, and I was like, oh my god. I'm like, they're like, in an official tournament held by them, they're like telling people, oh, you want to know how to do this, just check this guy out. And I'm like, I didn't even expect to like be the link that they used, and I was like, hell yeah. And again, you know, I just love the reboot so much for that. Like, that's like a personal reason why I like really like it. There are other reasons I like it too, but that's one of the reasons, because it really like helped my channel grow, because of one video I posted, they shared it, and now I got like this fan base, and I'm like, hell yeah.
Damn, that's super cool.
Oh yeah, dude, thanks a lot.
I think.
And then I just didn't want to stop. And then they subscribed to me too on YouTube, because like, if you see Capcom's official DMC YouTube channel, like they're only subscribed to like, I think 14 people, so it's like a really small handful, and I'm like one of them, and I'm like, oh shit. So that's like another reason.
It's like a super honor.
I know, right? They're subscribed to Don Guri and me and some other folks, but they're honestly like one of the reasons why I want to continue uploading YouTube videos, because I always keep in the back of my mind that like Capcom is subscribed to me, and it's like maybe it could be like another opportunity to like maybe like wow them with like a combo video, and maybe they'll share it, maybe they won't. But even if they don't share it, it's like I feel like just producing DMC content just makes you really happy, and you know, I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Oh, that's like the most heartwarming thing I've heard in a while.
Oh, Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. But you said you never like actually watched the whole anime. Like I don't even know if you've seen like any clips or anything, but
I've heard reviews and people talking about it, but that's the extent of what I know.
yeah, I'm just saying it'd be like so like dope if you saw it. Like not just because like I'm talking about it, but like I thought it was like pretty cool. Just because like there's not like any DMC animes out there, and like the animation for that one was like actually like pretty sick. And I mean honestly, like I think the story could have probably been like a little like better, but I think I'm only saying that because like you kind of feel like when you see Dante in the anime, like you feel like nothing can stop this dude. Like he's just like unstoppable. So I feel like it's kind of hard to write stories with Dante sometimes where he has to challenge. Because like I feel like the only true challenges he's ever had was Mundus and Vergil. And like hence the MC5 is like who was the main villain there? Like fucking Vergil. It's like nothing phases Dante. So you feel like to have like I think a good story with him, you need like a really good threat. Otherwise everything's just gonna be like a walk in the park for him. And probably explain why DMC2 he was so fucking bored. Because like every enemy he's just like breezing through, and like at that point he's like just so powerful that like he's just bored.
Yeah, that's kind of why I liked the Reboot Dante in terms of that like certain idea, was because Reboot Dante was a bit more grounded and like it was more a challenge for him to go up against certain enemies. But even then he kind of had the same problem as well of just going through certain enemies like the Succubus and Barbarbus with little to no problem. So
dude, and we have to have like I think like separate discussions so we don't go too off topic with this one. But I mean like separate discussions over like the reboot, because like I was gonna say I feel like New Dante like had like a lot of like identity crisis. Like Ninja Theory didn't know what they wanted New Dante to be, like from the start of the Tokyo Game Show 2010 trailer to like now. And like you could like see like a lot of differences like from then to like what he is now,
Well, that was I think a lot of this is mostly because of the like the concept art. Have you seen the concept art out of curiosity?
Oh yeah, I did, and dude, like he looks so much closer to like the OG Dante, and then like it reminded me how, at first when Ninja Theory had the whole like assignment of making a DMC reboot, like initially they wanted to make something like closer to the original DMCs as far as in like aesthetics and style. But Capcom was like pressuring them. I don't know if pressuring is the right word, but just like insisting that like if it's supposed to be a reboot, then Dante can't look like this. Like he has to be like more Western. And so they're like, all right. So they're just like, following their orders, and they got to fucking shoot out for it. Like everyone's like, what is this shit? And, it's just like so divisive. And I'm like, man, it's like if you think about it, it's like they were just following orders. And before anyone wants to bring out the whole PR stuff where Tamim would like bring up comments about Dante, it's like, I know he made his comments too, but I feel like with how the fan base was at times and how dude, like there are even people like sending out like death threats and shit. I don't feel like the fans were like saying either. I feel like it was just so pathetic. And then even at one point, how like even certain OG fans of DMC sent a petition to the fucking White House, like to the Obama administration, to remove DMC Devil May Cry from the market. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, do you think the president of the United States gives a fuck about a video game reboot? It's like. Obama's probably, even if he did see that shit, he was probably like, man, fucking like put that in his like trash album. Like he doesn't give a shit about that.
As President Obama, I must say, I must not let this reboot stand as its own. It must be eradicated.
It was like so dumb, man. Like even if back then, like if you agree that like it shouldn't be on the market and shit, just like don't buy it. That's how you vote. It's like vote with your wallet. Like if you don't want something, don't support it. But don't like send petitions to the fucking White House thinking that the president's gonna get something done for you. Like that's ridiculous.
The whole like mess around the reboot is kind of a mess. But yeah, about like the concept art is like you can tell like originally they had like a lot of closer ideas. I was going to try and make a video, but that's probably a lot more later down the line of kind of like compiling when in like where certain bits of concept art took place in the development, because I think like there's like a timeline you could set for like the time, like in my theory at least, I think originally they were gonna make the DMC5 just with like a new modern, like, or a type of spin-off game. That's why it was so close to the original. But and then Capcom probably saw, they were like, nah, we need it to be like a reboot, because they probably saw that the reboot might do better in the markets, so they switched it over to Reboot, going in the total opposite direction. Then Capcom said, whoa, that's way too much, you have to dial it way back. And then it kind of like flipped back and forth until it eventually ended up in the middle, and that's what we got. So there's like a lot of like interesting,
A lot of back and forth.
yeah, there's a lot of like interesting stuff about the concept art in terms of like all the different like enemy types and stuff. There's a lot of weird stuff.
Oh yeah,
which I think is really cool
that was cool. Oh yeah, but I think when you mention that, I feel like Capcom kind of like shot themselves in the foot by like telling Ninja Theory to like make it like more like westernized, even more drastic, like the change. Because it's like if they had just stuck to like the original like concept art, I feel like more people would have been accepting towards that, because it's like I don't think it was so much of the issue of it being a reboot that replaces the OG DMC. I feel like if it was going to be a reboot that like resembled the original DMC a little more, like with the concept designs, I feel like it would have got like more praise, because it's like it's still like having like the OG DMC energy still like resembles it and all that, but it still has like the artistic and creative like vision of Ninja Theory with like the level design, you know, like how the combat is and whatnot.
Yeah,
cool. I think it could have been cool. I honestly think it would have been like really cool if they had just done that, but it was like kind of a shame that they didn't, because it's like, I mean, like I don't regret the version we got now, only because I feel like, I mean, it's kind of like a win-win when you know that like the original series is not discontinued and you can still have the reboot. And honestly, if I could have it my way, I'd love to have like a continuation of both. Like if both franchises could coexist, like, you know, because we got like a reboot too. Like, dude, that'd be so dope. Like, because like I remember one time I had this discussion with a friend. Like, I told him like, yeah, I want like a sequel to the reboot, because like, you know, imagine what they could do with the gameplay. But he's like, they could just do that with another like classic DMC. And I'm like, yeah, but you can tell like the gameplay designers don't want to fuck up the original DMCs and how they play. Like you can tell with 5, because it's like with 5, they brought back manual lock-on, but it's like in the reboot, you could like combo the shit out of everyone without manual lock-on. I felt like manual lock-on was just like, I mean, like I didn't need it, you know. And I feel like the reboots had like such a different like combat system that I feel like that alone deserves a sequel. And even the story too. Like, I mean, they could probably make the story even way cooler, like, you know, learning from whatever mistakes from like the first game, and like I don't know, like have a story with Vergil and, you know, like Cat and whatever.
Yeah. I actually want your take on something while we're talking about the reboot. Specifically, the original teaser trailer that came out with Cigarette, Dante, and Ham, flaps for a hoodie, all that kind of stuff. Because I talked to like a lot of like reboot fans about it, and they're like super 50-50 about it. I find some people that like, oh yeah, that looks like a really cool idea, I wish they stuck with that. Or I get people are like, oh god no, the one that we got was so much better.
Oh wait, are you talking about like the one like from back then, like before like it was ever released, like just like the teaser trailer?
Yeah.
Oh, like versus now, like you seeing how people are like 50-50 and like about like the version we got like at the moment, or?
No, they're talking about the cigarette one.
Oh wait, the which one? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
The cigarette one, the one with the cigarette and the floppy hoodie. Never.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. The hoodie
that
one. The cigarette. Yes. So like, yeah, people were like giving shit about like Dante being a cigarette smoker, saying, "Oh, that's like so lame." You know, Dante shouldn't need a cigarette to be cool. But it's like, I don't know. I think it was like less about like needing a cigarette to be cool, and more about like.
Uh-oh, you there? Uh-oh. It's always when we're at the most interesting points. Yeah, there we are. Anyway, continue.
That's so weird. Okay, man, what was the last thing I said? Because I don't know like how much you heard. That's where I had to go from.
I didn't hear anything. I heard, and boom.
No, man. Oh, so I think the last thing we're talking about was like the whole smoking thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I was like saying like I don't think that was like the worst thing they could have done like when recreating Dante, because I just feel like him like smoking cigarettes that like wouldn't really like affect his character too much anyway, like the same way like he drinks, unless like he were to like do like extreme amounts of it, you know. And that shouldn't go into like the whole coolness factor, because when you keep other characters in mind, like Solid Snake and Big Boss, like they smoke cigarettes, and what, you gonna say they're lame because they do it, you know?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So I feel like saying that like, oh, he smokes cigarettes isn't like a good argument for saying that like, you know, he's like a shit character, or like another version of him is better or something.
Right.
But yeah, I almost feel like, dude, like even if he got like a sequel to the reboot, I just feel like people would be like kind of up in arms about it, you know? Like I feel like maybe some people would be up for it, but then maybe some people wouldn't, because they would just say, oh, why don't they just use this like talent to make like another DMC, you know? Like why do they have to make this one when people were so divisive about the first one?
Yeah. I don't know if we'll ever see a DMC reboot type thing come to light anyway. Besides, Tameen, I think Tameen has actually left Britain, actually. Over a lot of the political stuff that's been going on in Britain, he just decided to leave. So I don't...
Shit.
Yeah, no, so I don't think he's a part of Ninja Theory anymore. I don't think so.
That sucks.
Yeah, no, because Tameen was one of the main people that drove Hellblade.
Yeah, I remember that. I played Hellblade. Hellblade was sick, and so I'm just thinking, like, I mean, because he was the creative director for Hellblade, so it's like, if he's not there anymore, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with the second one.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they wanted Tameen specifically, because I think a lot of the original team liked him. Like, a lot of people think that there's bad blood between, like, Ninja Theory and Capcom, but that couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, literally, they tried to put, like, the Reboot as a skin multiple times, you know? So I don't think there's any blood between the two. It's more of just, like, what fans see out of the original two.
And that, I think, just made some creative differences for the two, because it's like, the whole reason why there was even like a reboot is because, like, you know, Capcom felt like outsourcing their IPs would do them better, because it's like, you know, their franchises, or some of them at least, weren't like selling that well in the West, so they thought, oh, well, let's just westernize some of these franchises, and let's see if we can, like, you know, spike the sales. Because it was funny, like, Capcom was actually, I remember back then, they were anticipating like Call of Duty level sales with the reboot for DMC. And I'm like thinking, that's like kind of like overestimating it, you know? Like, you don't know if it'll be that good. And as you can see, like, it didn't really like get those numbers. Like, yeah, it sold, but not as much as they were anticipating, because like they even had to like lower their sales expectations, I remember. Because like they anticipated like they'd make like 5 million from the reboot, but like not really, you know?
Yeah, I don't know why they expected a niche title like DMC to do that many numbers in the first place. That's kind of strange to me. I don't know why they would expect that. I don't know. Capcom people up there are weird. Them Japanese Asian people, they're weirdos.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they made some, like, iffy decisions back then. That was definitely, like, a weird era for Capcom, where they thought, like, you know, westernizing or outsourcing their IPs would, like, you know, garner them more sales, but that was, like, far from the case. They just had to stick to their guns, and it's, like, even in that situation, like, there were, like, some articles that were mentioning that, like, Capcom was going to stop outsourcing their IPs and start developing from now on, like, you know, in-house. You know, that way, it's like, you know, they can, like, make better games. And it just made me think back then, for like the longest time, it's like I remember back then, like, a love and hate relationship with the reboot, because like I only, like, quote, hated it back then because, like, it just thinking of its, like, place in the fandom, thinking, man, it's going to replace the original DMC, and as much as I want to try to enjoy the reboot, it's like, it's hard, because it's like you feel like it's like meant to replace the original, and like you don't know when they'll ever make a continuation. But I feel like, you know, a lot of the pain goes away when you know that the original still is being continued, and you can just still look at the reboot as its own thing and not compare it too hard to the originals, you know? And now it doesn't really deserve to be hated on. But I mean, even from the beginning, though, like, I feel like some of the hate was kind of unwarranted, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Definitely. I don't, like, I think I also, like, I don't think it was just you. I think a lot of people that would come to really love or like the reboot started off with a little love-hate relationship, because it kind of forced them to choose between the original games and the reboot. But now with that out of place, you know, with the reboot kind of standing as its own thing, we kind of don't have to worry about that anymore. And if they were to make a Reboot 2 sequel, they'd probably just go back to the original also anyway. So we don't no longer have to worry about that kind of fear.
It's kind of like the Nero thing, if I can make an example from that, where like some people didn't like Nero not because of him as a character, but because of like what he resembled for the franchise and how like he was kind of like stealing Dante's spotlight when certain players like all they wanted was just to play as Dante, so they kind of just looked at Nero as like a bitch, and they're like, fuck you, I just want Dante. But then it's like, you know, Reboot, it's like, well, fuck this game, I want OG DMC, you know? Like, that's like an easy criticism right there. Like, you know, just looking at it and just kind of like comparing it constantly, because I mean, well, you have to compare it when like it has the same name. But the one thing I'll never fucking agree with people, and I've seen this comment before in the Reboot, is like when people say, oh, it's a great hack and slash, or it's a great action game, but it's a horrible Devil May Cry game.
Oh, my favorite argument.
Like, you skip the fucking cutscenes, first off, and if you want to argue how DMC it is, like, dude, put on the classic skins, like, put on the classic music, and try to combo as best as you can with your jump cancels and whatever, and if you can't, like, don't even say that stupid shit, because like saying it's like a horrible Devil May Cry game, I'm like, that couldn't be further from the truth, because the combat shows what DMC is all about. It's like crazy ass combos, and to say it's like a horrible Devil May Cry game, I'm like, I feel like they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. I come across that argument so often. I asked in the Discord, and people were just like flaming with heats about how like frustrated they were with that comment, because it's used so often. Like,
it's so stupid, man.
I
Like,
gotta,
not even a good one.
I gotta debate one of those people that actually think that.
Same. Yeah, because I'm like, how is it a bad DMC game? It's like you know, like the only thing that's missing, I guess, like using quotation marks, is like taunts. That's it. Because like there were some times like when I was like playing as like Dante, where I thought like, man, like, you know, like where's my taunt? You know, after like doing some like badass shit. But most of the time, I just feel like you're just like so like busy like comboing and jump canceling and just like kind of like peeing on everyone's ass, like fly on shit, but like you don't really like have enough time to like just taunt. So I just kind of thought like it's not the worst thing in the world that there's not like a taunt button in the Reboot. Like it was still like DMC as fuck. And in my opinion, like I know people would try to crucify me for this, but I actually enjoy DMC Definitive Edition's gameplay more than DMC 4. only because I felt like with the Reboot, it's like I feel like because there's no style switching, I feel like you have Dante's moveset available to you in just one singular like play style, right? Where you don't have to swap to different play styles like Swordmaster, Trickster, or whatever. It's like everything's available to you in one go, and I feel like that's like having to do like less cycling, and in a way you're kind of able to like stay a little more focused by just like focusing on things like, you know, like jump canceling or like enemy dodging rather than like style switching, because some of the moves that were exclusive to styles are now available to you in one moveset, so it kind of, in a way, if it makes sense, feels like less limiting. And yeah, I just like the way the Reboot's gameplay felt more.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But there are a lot of people out there that really love DMC4, and boy, do they love DMC4.
Yeah, dude, I feel like they would fucking be like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, you know, like DMC4 is just like the king, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like DMC4 is kind of overrated sometimes. I feel like DMC5 is like much better, like even from like gameplay wise as well. Like that's a complete package and everything. And I feel like even Definitive Edition is too, because it's like I love DMC4 as much as the next guy, but when I say a complete package, I'm talking like DMC, the Reboot, didn't make you backtrack like half a fucking game with another character. Like it was like a completely fresh game from start to finish, and I loved it.
Right.
DMC4 has its issues, but I feel like it might be unfair to compare it to, because it's like, I don't know what kind of like development like the DMC4 had, you know, because I know some things were like rushed, and I heard development time was halved when Capcom made the decision to make DMC4 like multi-platform. So I don't know what really happened there, but you know, since people like to shit on the Reboot, I feel like it does deserve to be compared in that light, because it's like, well, if you want to shit on the Reboot, a known fact easily is that like it's at least more of a completed game, you know, as far as like a package goes than DMC4 is.
Right, absolutely.
And at least Vergil has his own missions.
that is so true. People hate to hear the truth on that one.
It's like, oh, well, you can replace missions as Dante, but I'm like, I'm not talking about the same shit where you can just like replace someone's missions. I'm talking like actually having your own story missions, and it's like, give Vergil shit all you want. I mean, the new Vergil shit for like not having like fully rendered cutscenes, But it's like, at least you still got a story. Like, that's what counts. Like, I feel like at least with OG DMCs, it's like Vergil was just an extra where, like, you can only, like, play as him on the stages and do cool combos. But, like, how fucking cool would it be if, like, Capcom, like, I kind of hate saying this, like, stop being lazy and just, like, gave you, like, a Vergil story, you know? Instead of just, like, letting you just play the missions. Like, just actually gave you, like, new cutscenes and new locations and shit. It's, like, so hard for them to do for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think Capcom...
Like,
Capcom
they did it with Reboot. Like, what?
Yeah, but I don't know why Capcom just doesn't want to give us content. Do they just not like us? Do you not love me anymore, Capcom?
Well, they must not like Trish and Lady fans, because they were like, fuck you, when they, like, excluded, like, those two ladies from, like, the special edition for 5. Because I feel like if they were going to be in the game, they would have, like, dropped details on them already. But I feel like they're not going to be in the game. I'm like, ooh, that sucks.
No, they've pretty much confirmed to not be in the game, so...
And I'm like, no! It's because it's like the DMC 4 Special Edition had them, and it's like, why not 5? And I'm not trying to sound like one of those fans who are like, I'm not, like, grateful enough for, like, what I'm already getting, because I am, but it's just like, they have their character models in the game, you know? Like, when you fucking do photo mode, you can see, like, not Dante, you can see, like, Lady and Trish's, like, character models, like, fully rendered, and you're just thinking, like, man, like, people have made mods for them, but it's like, not them, and it just would have been cool to see how their playstyles transition into, like, DMC5's gameplay engine.
To be fair, I don't think it's that much of a loss. Like, come on, who's like a die-hard Lady or Trish player? Come on.
Oh, you know, it's funny because I feel like, okay, so if this particular YouTuber were to watch your video, like, she'd be like, nope. Like, if you watch, like, Spear Hunter, like, she's, like, a huge Lady fan. I feel like if she, like, were to watch this video and come to this point, she'd be like,
yeah,
what are you talking about?
Fuck Spear Hunter. I don't give a shit, okay? I'm out here with the hot takes. I don't care. Look, Lady and Trish were never really that good to begin with. Lady is literally, like, knock-off gunslinger, and Trish is, like, overpowered, but not as good Vergil. Okay, I'm saying it. It had to be said. Good night.
No, you're bagging on the ladies just because we have other things. There's no need to do. We don't have to. I still love the ladies, but it's just like, it's okay. You can kind of get over, like, I guess not having them because, like, you know, at the end of the day, DMC5 SE will still have, like, 4 playable characters, and that's already nuts.
Yeah.
But dude, the whole Vergil thing, like, because I know we were talking about, like, mechanics, but, like, I'm not sure if he's gonna have, like, his own, like, Sim Devil Trigger form, because I almost feel like maybe he'll have, like, his, like, normal DT then Sim DT. But then I don't know, because he has, like, the whole thing where you know, he can get, like, V out of him, and then you can, like, start playing his V.
Yeah, but I think this is what Devilish Motive thinks as well, is that I think that move that we saw in the trailer, the move that where he impales himself and he becomes V, I think that's just a special move. I don't think that that's actually a full-on switch. If that would be a switch, then yeah, it would be crazy in depth. But I don't see it being likely. I think that's just a special move.
So, like, maybe, like, a temporary, like, power-up where, like, you play his V for, like, I don't know, like, 10 seconds or 15 or something?
Yeah, something like that. Or they just use that kind of overall damaging move. It'll be kind of like his other end judgment cut, I guess.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So you think maybe he'll have his own normal DT then?
Yeah, I think so. Well, we have to also have that and the doppelganger. Did you see the trailer, out of curiosity?
Oh, dude, yeah. Like, I saw the trailer, like, 20 million times.
Okay, yeah.
That's why I was streaming so much, because, like, I remember, like, I told you, like, my friend was, like, he told me, oh, yeah, look, PS5 showcase, DMC. And I was like, no way. And then I go on the live stream, and I, like, see, I'm like, oh, shit, DMC5 SE. I'm just, like, screaming the whole time because I can't contain myself. And, like, I know, like, other people, too, were saying that, like, they were really excited at first, but that, like, excitement, like, quickly diminished as soon as they found out that it wasn't coming to PC. But I feel like my excitement still stays because it's, like, yeah, I get that frustration, and, like, I have a PC as well, but, like, I already plan on getting a Series X, and I feel like if it really mattered to people, I feel like they would just get a system, too, because it's, like, I'm a PC owner just like them, and I'm not like bitching that hard to where it's like I need to have it on PC because it's like, well, it's like, you know what, they're not gonna fucking release it on PC. It's like, whatever. I plan to get like a next gen anyways, and I'm gonna get the game. It's like I'm not gonna review bomb the game and make the game look like shit on Steam because I just feel like that hurts the game's reputation. And if you want your voices heard, I just don't think that's a good way to go about it. Like, I mean, I feel like a better way would have probably to, like, I don't know, like email Matt or, like, you know, tweet to him or something, because it's like, it seems like Matt takes his fans very seriously. So, you know, that would have been a better way to go about it instead of just, like, you know, just shitting on the game with the reviews, thinking that's going to get them to listen, because it's like, oh, great, now you just fucking hurt the game's reputation and people are going to think our game sucks. But it's like, even if they fucking don't, it's like, I just feel like it's just so childish. And whatever happened to the people that were telling others to, like, suck it up and get over it when Bayonetta 2 became like a Wii U exclusive. And that's probably a little different because, like, you know, the other DMC games still came to PC. But the point I'm trying to make is that even people back then were saying get over it, and if you want to play the game, buy the system. It's like, why can't you do the same thing here? It's like, because you already have it set up and you don't want to buy it. It's like, people back then already had PS3s and 360s. Did you think they want to buy like a fucking Wii U to play Bayonetta 2? No. But, like, again, people said suck it up and get over it, and it's like, you can't do the same here. It's like, I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean, though.
But I'm not saying everyone has to be that way, because then it's almost kind of like saying, oh, suck it up and dish out another $300, $400, or $500. It's like, you know, it's like being inconsiderate to people's situations and, like, assuming everyone has that money to just, like, throw around.
Yeah,
but
especially now.
Yeah, and times are hard now, and I get that. But, like, I don't think it's the end of the world, because I almost feel like it might be, like, a timed exclusive kind of thing. So, like, if people just, like, patiently wait, and maybe people don't want to wait, so probably that's, like, that's the reason why there's, like, this huge outrage and just, like, want it now. But it's like, again, I told you, like, I'm getting it, so I don't know. Because it just kind of makes you think, if you're like a PC owner, I feel like you gotta be, like, having some kind of bank, like, you know, like, if people are saying, oh, like, I can't afford a next gen, it's like, then how the fuck were you able to afford this, like, high-end PC? It's like, when the next gen is so much cheaper than that, it's, you know. But again, that's the whole thing with how they already have the setup. They don't want to dish out the extra money, and they just want the game on their platform, and that's something, you know, Capcom should have obeyed with, but, you know, it didn't happen, so maybe we'll get an explanation, maybe we won't, but regardless, I'm still getting a system, so fuck it.
Okay, I'm so tired, man. That debate wore me out.
I know, right? Yeah, same, because I don't know, like, how long we've been, like, debating for, or if any of this stuff was actually being recorded or going on there.
Yeah, don't worry, it's all recorded, yeah.